Welcome to another episode of Simplifying Social Media. Today, I am joined by Alex Pedroni. She is a real estate agent in Salt Lake City,
Yes.
right? Salt Lake City, Utah, but serving all of Utah. She is also a mama of five, and she's making six figures with Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I feel like you're just kind of a little celebrity, so this is awesome.
Social media is so weird because I feel like I don't feel any different now that my Instagram has grown, but
Yeah,
everyone's like treating me different. I don't know.
right.
I'm so excited to talk about Instagram with you. But before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about your team size and production just for context?
Yeah, so I actually started out in real estate on a team, and I did that for about 2 years. And then recently, in the last year or so, I decided to join a brokerage where I'm completely solo. I don't have, the team meetings, different things like that. So I am under a broker. I don't have anyone underneath me. It's just me, myself, and I run the whole show. I do my TC. People tell me all the time, like, Alex, you need to hire somebody. But I kind of have like, I don't know, control issues sometimes where I think, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to let somebody take over. But
Same girl, same.
yeah, so it's just me and my production. Like I said, I do over six figures, not over, I hit six figures on Instagram just through leads and posting on Reels. So that's kind of been my go-to. So
Beautiful. Okay, so let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. Are all of your leads coming from Instagram? Do you have other marketing strategies that you use? What does that look like in 2023?
when I went on my own, I don't get lead sources. My brokerage, it's all just completely my own SOI. And I thought to myself, like, holy crap, like, what am I going to do? Right. Like, I'm not a huge door knocker. I don't like it when people door knock my house. And so I don't want to be annoying.
Yeah.
I also am not huge into sales, honestly. Like, I don't like to be salesy. So I felt like Reels was a good thing. It started to be like this new thing coming out when I started them. So I wasn't 100% sure how it was going to work, but it obviously has worked. And I feel like me reaching these people have just been through Reels.
Mhm.
I would say about 90% of my transactions have been strictly through Instagram, social media. So I know it works. And that's kind of what I've just been sticking to.
Do you have like a flow of like what you post, how that conversion works as far as getting them off of Instagram and into your marketing? What does that look like for you?
So I don't really have like a flow. I know like some experts and gurus say post every day, post at this time every day. And I kind of just stick to what's working for me. Like if I have time, basically, because
Yeah.
I do get busy with work. But in between showings, you'll notice that a lot of my reels are in my car. It has good lighting for the kind of car I drive. So I try to keep it simple. I also feel like that kind of puts me as more of a real person and human versus someone who's trying to like sell somebody, right? And
Yeah.
so once I make a reel, I always want it to be educating. I want it to be entertaining at the same time. That way I can create a friendship with people. But my main goal when posting a reel or posting anything on social media is to create a conversation with my following. I really want to encourage DMs because that is a one-on-one conversation with somebody new, right? That could potentially turn into a lead or even if it's another real estate agent, a referral. So I always try to encourage DMs for sure.
Tell me a little bit about that. How do you encourage DMs?
I post a lot on my story and I ask questions. So I'm always like, what are you guys doing today? Or like if I'm running comps for somebody, I don't say I'm running CMA because a lot of my following, like, what's a CMA? So I'm
Yeah.
like, very curious how much your house is worth. And then I'll put like a sticker or a poll and people will comment on that or yes. And then that creates a DM. And when someone DMs me, I'm not trying to sell right away, right? I'm trying to create a friendship. I want to ask about their lives or just small conversation. There's no way that I'm gonna just jump in and be like, "Are you looking to buy or sell?" Because that's like so cringy. So
Yeah.
I try to stay away from that. Another thing too is on my like actual feed, I try to keep it strictly real estate related.
Okay.
Like I said, I do have five kiddos, but I do post a lot of my personal life in my story bubbles because they disappear after 24 hours. But I think it just it helps a lot. I post a ton on my stories. I try to post every day on Reels, but
Yeah.
sometimes it gets a little hectic. So I just say whatever you're comfortable with, just post, but just always try to create a conversation.
Yes. 1000%. I love that you don't have like a super strict schedule for yourself because life is crazy, work is
Mhm.
crazy, kids are crazy. Like you have to
Yeah,
be able to like maintain it. And if you're like overextending yourself, there's no way. There's no way
right.
it's gonna continue to be fruitful for you. I also really enjoy that you are focused on the relationship aspect. I do feel like a lot of agents come to me and are frustrated because they're like, I'm not converting, nobody's asking me to sell their house. When somebody does reach out to you, how do you like qualify them? How do you know if they are even going to be a lead at some point? How do you know if they're even local to you? Like, what is that kind of thought process for you?
But so, as you know, you probably get a lot of like scammers, I think. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because I've realized that, well, Instagram will populate like your hidden messages. And then I think there's even another one, a category, I can't think of it right now, where those are even hidden. And I feel
Hmm.
like that pool is all scams.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how they do that. I have gotten a few where I'm just like, as soon as they ask me for the WhatsApp, I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, this is fake. Or like if I go on their profile and they've got like a couple posts or like no following or, those are all kind of like red flags I try to look for. But if I do have someone who's serious, they usually ask about Utah. They ask about the market, kind of thing like that. But yeah, I just try to use my best judgment. I still will kind of have a conversation with somebody, but just to kind of get the feel. But yeah, I got to check them out too. So they've checked me out. I'm going to go on their profile and also check them out as well.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
important. I mean, the scammers are so like artsy these
I
days.
know. Yeah. I'm
It's like it's
like,
crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. I'm like, what? Or one wanted me to just talk on the phone, but through Instagram app. Like I gave her my phone number probably 4 or 5 times, and she would just only call me strictly through Instagram. And I was like, okay, like this is not real, but whatever. Or I get a lot of people that are like, hey, my client wants to sell their Lux house, right? And I'm
Oh
like,
my God, yeah.
that's just the number one like scam. I'm like, all right, I don't even open those. So yeah, you just got to use your best judgment.
Yeah. It's interesting because like as your following starts to grow, you get more and more of that. And it's like a
Mhm.
little bit overwhelming at first. So it's definitely like noticing the patterns or noticing like different things like that is super important in my
Yeah,
opinion. You talked a little bit about converting and encouraging DMs. Do you focus on growing your following?
I do at a certain point. At first, I think I was really into that. If you want me to go back just a little bit, I created my account back in 2018 and it was just about my kids kind of thing.
Hmm.
I was pregnant with my twins and I had kind of a crazy pregnancy. So I was like focusing on that a lot. And then I didn't post my first real estate related post until July 2020.
Okay.
So kind of a while. I don't know why. I just was sticking to the old school kind of ways about things. And then 2021, I posted my first reel and it's super embarrassing, but I keep them up because you never know.
Yeah.
But I just like make it off of TikTok and it has like the TikTok watermark and all that stuff. So it's kind of funny to see. And then when I decided to like really just maybe I'm going to utilize the Instagram reel and make it through that, I went from like 40 views to 300,000 views just with one reel. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like,
Hmm.
I'm going to start using Instagram Reels. And for whatever reason, for me, I feel like Instagram was a lot easier to use than TikTok. And I don't use TikTok. I stuck to Instagram Reels and it started creating business. And that's when I just never really have looked back. So, yeah, that's kind of where I've seen my growth go. I don't pay for leads. I grow them all organically. So I'm almost to 13,000 followers. And it's like I hit that, every moment. And it's like, a huge celebration for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, and honestly, I feel like I've grown it from reels because it's when you post a reel, as you know, it gets sent to thousands of people and not
Hmm.
all of them are going to follow you. But if they feel like that was engaging or interesting, like they're going to follow you. So I don't necessarily focus on my following as much as some others may do. I really try to it is my source of income. And so I try to focus on how to get a lead or how to make the next transaction through this. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
You mentioned like the different types of posts, so like the reels and then the Canva graphics or the static posts, carousels. I did notice on your page you have a good variety of everything going on there. Is there strategy behind that? I know you said you don't stick to a super like crazy schedule regarding posting, but what does that look like when you're planning out your content, or do you plan it out?
I don't necessarily plan it out. I'm pretty easygoing. I know some people probably would tell me I'm wrong, but like, I used to be like, man, I'm posting way too many reels. I need to post like a carousel or whatever. And I feel like carousels right now are doing pretty good. So like I think my last post was a carousel. So I try to like keep those going. I try to post carousels, reels, mix it up. I do post like my closings because it lets my following know that I'm working and I'm in the business and I'm doing it every day. Another thing that I treat my Instagram like my CRM.
Hmm.
So I do have a CRM and honestly, I don't really use it, but I use my Instagram kind of as my leverage. So I treat my following like my SOI, even if they're in different states, even if I've never met them. That following is my SOI. So when people only have 100 followers or 1,000, it's like that's still a lot of people. And you should still be treating those people as your SOI. And
Mm-hmm.
then anytime somebody comments, on your stuff, comment back, reply, like let them know you've seen them, that you appreciate them for watching. And I always try to follow up with a question. So that's kind of my strategy.
I think if it's working for you, then nobody can tell you that you're doing it the wrong way. Like,
Right.
absolutely not. Like, there is no one right way at
Right.
all. Like, there's so many different ways to utilize it. It's a platform, and we make it kind of what we want. And what tip would you give someone who's really struggling with what the heck do I film to generate leads?
I would say kind of think about you have a client, think about what's going on with that client or that transaction and kind of just go with that. That's kind of how I started. I'm like, what's going on? Or what would someone like to know? Or maybe one of their questions can turn into a reel, right? Because
Yeah.
if they have a question, I'm sure a lot of other people have the same exact question. I do try to look for trending audio sometimes, or even at this point, whatever I just like, honestly, I don't even really look for trending right now. And then I just make a reel off of it. So that's kind of what I do. You can also go to like answerthepublic.com to get ideas. There's so much out there that it's just like you can even go to Google and just Google top real estate questions or chat GPT, right? You could utilize that and go into like trending real estate videos and then it will give you like a whole list of videos you can make. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of my 2 cents on that. So if you're struggling to find it, use the internet.
Yeah. I feel like you and I are so similar because like I know a lot of creators will batch create their reels, and
Yeah.
I can't do that because a lot of my reels, like you just said, stem from questions from clients or like
Mhm.
what I'm actually working on that day, then I'll create a reel about it. So I feel like that's a little bit more authentic and it like fits well with my personality.
Yeah, I've tried to batch reels before, and then I'm just like, I go back and I'm like, this has nothing to do with
Same.
it.
I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't like it anymore, or like,
yeah,
or I'll post them all the same day.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
hard.
Yeah, I think it again, it depends on you and how you work and what systems you like and things like that.
Yeah,
Awesome. So where can everyone find you?
you can find me on Instagram. It's at your_real estate girl, and that's where I'm at most of the time. I don't really transfer to Facebook or TikTok or anything like that. So,
Keeping it
yeah,
simple.
yes.